There's a quiet force that drives the people who seem to bend the world around their ideas. A spark, a restlessness, a hunger to know one more thing, try one more experiment, push one more boundary. Some call it ambition, some call it obsession, but the truth is simpler. It's curiosity. Relentless curiosity. And today, when we look at two giants of our era, MrBeast and Elon Musk, we see that underneath all the headlines and achievements lies the same engine humming inside them both, a refusal to stop wondering what might be possible. Think about it. Two people from entirely different worlds. One builds rockets, cars, satellites, and companies that reshape industries. The other makes videos, plants millions of trees, gives away fortunes, and entertains billions. Their arenas couldn't be more different, yet the energy that propels them is almost identical. It's the instinct to ask questions so bold that most people would feel embarrassed to even whisper them. It's the willingness to chase those questions long after the excitement fades and the work becomes exhausting. It's the mindset that says, I might not know how to do this now, but I can learn. That is the power of relentless curiosity. There's something magnetic about people who keep digging, who keep peeling back layers, who treat the world like a giant puzzle waiting for them to sort its pieces. When MrBeast was a teenager sitting in his small bedroom, obsessively refreshing his YouTube analytics, nobody saw a future global phenomenon. Nobody imagined that his curiosity about how YouTube works would lead him to test thumbnail after thumbnail, title after title, experiment after experiment, until he cracked a code most people didn't even know existed. He didn't wait for permission. He didn't wait for a clear path. He followed his curiosity like a compass. And Elon Musk, long before Tesla, before SpaceX, before the world knew his name, was the young boy buried in books, devouring knowledge, reading entire encyclopedias because he simply wanted to understand how everything worked. Not for a grade, not for a paycheck, but because he was fascinated. Because the question, why not, echoed louder in his mind than the warnings of, that's impossible. Curiosity is the first spark. But relentless curiosity is the fire that refuses to go out. There's a moment in everyone's life when curiosity whispers. When a question nudges your mind. When an idea tickles your imagination. And most people let the moment pass. They shrug it off. They say they're busy. They say the idea is silly. They say someone smarter will figure it out. Relentlessly curious people don't brush off that whisper. They follow it. They poke at it. They close the door, sit down, and let their brain wander deeper. They chase the thread until it leads them somewhere unexpected. MrBeast didn't become the most watched creator on earth by luck. He tore apart the mechanics of storytelling and viewer psychology with the intensity of a scientist unlocking a formula. Elon Musk didn't build reusable rockets by dreaming vaguely. He asked the question, why can't we? And then kept going deeper until the impossible became simply another engineering problem. But there's something important here. Something we often overlook. Curiosity doesn't feel heroic in the moment. It doesn't feel glamorous. In fact, it feels boring, repetitive, lonely. It feels like obsessing over numbers that don't matter to anyone else. It feels like getting lost in research. It feels like staying awake at 3 a.m. wondering if one small change could make something work. That's what relentless curiosity looks like behind the scenes. A person alone with a question they can't stop thinking about. And here's the truth we need to recognize: greatness grows in the soil of small questions asked consistently. People ask how MrBeast makes his videos so big, so ambitious, so explosive. But the scale didn't begin with money. It began with curiosity. How long will someone stay glued if the pacing changes? What if the challenge gets harder every minute? What if the stakes get absurdly high? How can generosity become a form of storytelling that captures the imagination of the world? These questions led to more questions, and those questions led to experiments, and those experiments led to breakthroughs. Elon Musk asks a different set of questions, but the pattern is identical. What if we treated rockets like airplanes instead of disposable fireworks? What if electric cars weren't slow, dull, or boring? What if Mars wasn't just a fantasy but a destination? These questions weren't asked by committees. They weren't asked by experts seeking consensus. They were asked by one person unwilling to silence his curiosity simply because the world didn't take the idea seriously yet. And that brings us to something crucial. Curious people see the world not as it is, but as it could be. They hold the blueprint of the future in their minds long before reality catches up. They are willing to endure laughter, skepticism, and criticism because the questions pulling them forward are louder than the doubts pushing them back. But curiosity alone isn't enough. Relentless curiosity demands courage. It requires the bravery to look foolish while learning, to try things that won't work, to fail publicly, to get back up anyway, to keep asking the questions that others avoid. There's a powerful lesson here for all of us. The path to extraordinary is paved with ordinary questions taken seriously. People often ask how to find their passion. But passion isn't found. Passion is grown. It begins as curiosity. It expands through exploration. It sharpens through focus. And it strengthens through persistence. If you wait for lightning to strike, you'll be waiting your whole life. But if you follow your curiosity inch by inch, it will eventually lead you somewhere worth going. Look at the journey of these two men. MrBeast didn't set out to become the world's biggest YouTuber. He simply loved making videos and figuring out how to make them better. Elon Musk didn't begin with the intention of becoming the most ambitious entrepreneur on earth. He began by trying to solve problems that bothered him. The scale came later. The impact came later. The influence came later. Curiosity lit the first match. And here's the part that most people never realize: curiosity is accessible to everyone. You don't need money to be curious. You don't need connections to be curious. You don't need approval to be curious. You just need to care enough to ask a question and brave enough to chase the answer. Your curiosity may not lead you to rockets or billion-view videos. It may lead you to create art, start a business, write a book, build a community, master a craft, or solve a problem nobody else noticed. Your curiosity has its own path, its own rhythm, its own destination. And the world needs what only you can discover. But relentless curiosity requires something difficult: the willingness to be a beginner again and again. MrBeast has restarted his understanding of YouTube dozens of times as the platform changed. Elon Musk has reinvented himself from software to automotive to aerospace to AI to energy. They never cling to what they already know. They constantly ask what they're missing. They remain students even after becoming masters. That is the mindset that separates those who rise from those who plateau. If you want your life to change, you must be willing to learn continuously. You must let curiosity pull you out of your comfort zone and into deeper waters. You must give yourself permission to explore without knowing exactly where it will lead. Because curiosity is not predictable. It does not move in straight lines. It meanders. It loops. It surprises. But in the end, it always leaves you wiser, stronger, and braver than before. Think back to your own childhood. You once had relentless curiosity. You once asked why 100 times in a row. You once explored freely without worrying about being wrong. You once followed your imagination across entire afternoons. But somewhere along the way, the world taught you to stop. It rewarded certainty and punished questions. It praised answers and discouraged exploration. But those who change the world never let that curiosity die. They protect it. They nurture it. They feed it. If you want to build something extraordinary, you must rediscover that part of yourself. Let curiosity become your superpower again. Ask questions no one else is asking. Test ideas that seem ridiculous. Study things that fascinate you even if they don't make sense to anyone else. Experiment, revise, and experiment again. Follow the tug in your mind that says, what if? What could this become? How far can I take this? Because the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is often just one more question, one more experiment, one more step forward. MrBeast and Elon Musk aren't superhuman. They don't walk around with magical abilities. Their power comes from a mindset available to every one of us. They simply refused to stop exploring. They refused to let the world harden their imagination. They refused to let the fear of failure silence their curiosity. And that's the challenge for you. If you want to build something that matters, start with the questions burning quietly in your mind. Chase them far, chase them long. Let them lead you down paths that scare you and excite you at the same time. You don't need to be the next MrBeast. You don't need to be the next Elon Musk. You need to be the first you. The version of yourself that refuses to settle for a life untouched by curiosity. The version of yourself willing to follow your ideas even when they don't make sense yet. The version of yourself that believes exploration is not childish but powerful. Curiosity fuels creativity. Curiosity fuels progress. Curiosity fuels transformation. In a world that moves faster every day, the people who thrive are not the ones who know the most, they are the ones who keep learning. They are the ones who stay curious long after others have closed the book. So let this be your reminder. Let this be your spark. The world is full of people waiting for inspiration to strike. But inspiration favors the curious. It visits those who seek, those who question, those who try. And if you become that person, if you let relentless curiosity become the force that guides you, your future will expand in ways you can't predict yet. Let your ideas breathe. Let your questions grow louder. Let your curiosity take the wheel. And when the world asks what drove you, what carried you, what lifted you higher than your fears and doubts, you'll have your answer. Relentless curiosity. The same power that shaped a YouTuber who changed digital storytelling forever. The same force that propelled an entrepreneur to reach beyond Earth itself. It lives in you too. Follow it, chase it, honor it, and let it transform your life into a story worth telling.